Mahatma Gandhi said, "There are people in this world so hungry that God cannot appear to them except in the form of bread. If we are to be God's hands, we better learn how to make bread." Hello, I am Laura Kidd, a homemade bread enthusiast. I want to share with you my reasons for learning how to make bread, in hopes that you will join me in making bread and making every kitchen smell of freshly baked bread. I learned how to make bread as a young mother over 20 years ago, with only the intention to provide nutritious bread for my family. As my bread making skills improved, I became more confident in my abilities and learned how to make my many different kinds of bread: banana bread, cinnamon chip bread, 14-grain bread, walnut bread. Learning how to make a variety of breads made my family full and happy and inspired me to learn more. Originally, I viewed this skill as a necessity for feeding my family and added it to my list of motherly duties. It would be just another chore. What I discovered was making bread had a great purpose. Learning how to make bread is more than acquiring knowledge and skill, although that is important. But it is in the giving of the bread that opens a door and enables you to comfort and serve others. There is almost a universal love for homemade bread that brings an instant connection between people and encourages conversation and closeness. Knowing how to make bread is also beneficial to you and your family. Learning the skill itself is a confidence builder. You can also teach the skill to your family and friends, creating special bonds. Homemade bread is also more nutritious and less expensive than store-bought bread. When bread is unavailable, you can make your own. But the most important reason for learning how to make bread is to give it away. The gift of homemade bread communicates love and acceptance. Just as there are many reasons for making bread, there are many different preparation methods. Let's begin by selecting your preparation methods, the method that works best for you. We can begin by demystifying the bread making process. If you are a young single or a married couple, a bread maker might be your choice. It makes one loaf of bread at a time. If you are a large family and need a larger portions of bread, more loaves of bread, a bread mixer might be your choice. It is also a multitasker, as different attachments will allow you to make muffins or cookies or brownies. There's also the last choice of home or hand-developed bread, and so you can, if you like to get your hands dirty, this is the one you would like. You can make it. It takes a little extra time, a little extra effort, but it is also very doable. To further demystify the bread making process, I will explain what creates that knowledge. What are the basic ingredients for bread? Flour, wheat or white, liquids, water or milk, salt, fats, oil, eggs are optional, and yeast. Yeast is the real fear factor for many people. Thankfully, you can use instant yeast now, and you don't have to worry about any of those things. How do I correct a mistake in my dough? If your dough is too dry, you simply add more water. If your dough is too loose, you simply add more flour. Many people get all worried about that process, but it isn't as hard as it looks. Can I substitute ingredients? Yes. You could use agave for honey. You could use milk for water. You can use different kinds of flour. There's coconut flour, walnut flour, all those different substitutions you can make. A solid knowledge base for making bread also allows us to share what we have learned. Teaching others deepens our own understanding. The importance as a learner. Special bonds are formed as bread making skills are taught. Individuals appreciate the time and effort taken to teach them, making the learner feel special. Fond memories are created when you are teaching others, and memories are being made. There is a connection between the teacher and the student, and between the giver and the receiver. Teaching others the skills engages all the senses. In the process, it promotes potent memories for the learner and a connection not otherwise made in the learning process. Feeding your family nutritious food inexpensively and in times of limited resources are indicators of forethought, planning, and love. Homemade bread is more nutritious than store-bought bread. Store-bought bread strips down the wheat grains and adds fortifiers to increase the shelf life, but decreases the nutritional value. Homemade bread can taste as good as some store-bought breads. The textures can be just as good. It will take a little practice, but it is easily attainable. Homemade bread is cheaper. The cheapest loaf of bread is about $1 a loaf. A cost breakdown will show that homemade bread is about 53 cents a loaf, or 47 cents a loaf if you're making more than one loaf of bread. Even though the main reasons for learning how to make bread are all practical, each reasons provide the learner, the teacher, the giver, and the recipient an end result of love in the form of bread. The process of making bread actually begins with the love the baker has for their family and friends. When I first started making bread, I was not very good at it. The loaves were oddly shaped and the bread was dense. As I continued, my skills improved and my confidence grew. The first time my bread looked and tasted good was pivotal for me. I began to try different recipes and letting others outside my family try the bread. It was exciting to have this new skill. This excitement generated a desire to teach my friends this newfound skill. Teaching others the value of making and giving them the bread and knowledge is very fulfilling. It is exciting. The addictive feeling of joy I receive when giving bread to others that keeps me baking. Small acts of kindness cannot be underestimated, like giving someone a loaf of bread. Both the receiver and the giver are blessed. In these moments, the receiver feels the needed love and comfort, and the giver experiences the joy of being the Lord's hand. Join me in bread making. Thank you.